everyone, and welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. We'll get this. Today, it's all about your research on blockchain and how it's shaking up the insurance world.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing stuff, especially with London Insurance Week 2025 coming up.
Right. That's the big one everyone's watching.
Yeah.
Whether you're insurance pro or just curious about the future of, well, everything, this event is signaling some major changes.
Absolutely. Think faster claims, lower costs, and maybe even new ways to insure things we never could before. It's a huge deal.
Huge is right. So London's calling, but why? What makes it the place to be for blockchain insurance?
Well, think about it. London, especially with Lloyd's of London, has been at the heart of global insurance for centuries, right?
True.
Setting the standards, taking on the biggest risks. So it makes sense that a city steeped in tradition is also embracing this cutting-edge tech. It's like old meets new, which is exactly what blockchain represents for insurance.
I like that. This blend of tradition and disruption is really fascinating. But, there's a lot of hype around blockchain. Is this really the game changer everyone says it is? Or is it just another tech fad that will fade away?
It's good to be skeptical, especially with new tech, no doubt. But here's the thing. With blockchain and insurance, we're way past the what-if stage. We're seeing real-world stuff happening.
Real-world stuff like what?
Well, one of the articles you sent, it's called Pasted Text, talks about something called parametric microinsurance.
Parametric what now?
Parametric microinsurance. It uses these things called weather-indexed triggers. It's like,
Oh, okay.
imagine a farmer in a drought-prone area. Traditional insurance. Claims can take forever, right?
Yeah, tons of paperwork and back and forth.
Exactly. But with parametric microinsurance, there's a smart contract on the blockchain. If the weather data hits a certain drought level, boom, payout. Automatic.
Wait, so the smart contract is like a digital agreement everyone agrees on beforehand. And if the weather data, which everyone can see on the blockchain, hits that drought level, the payout happens. No one has to argue or anything.
That's it. And because blockchain is this shared, tamper-proof record, it's all fair and transparent. Everyone trusts the system.
Okay, that makes more sense. This could be huge, especially for people vulnerable to climate change. But I'm wondering, cutting out the insurance company completely, could that be risky?
That's a really good question, and it's something the industry is trying to figure out. You see, blockchain can automate a lot, but you still need human expertise, right?
For what kind of things?
Well, things like risk assessment, designing policies. It's not about getting rid of insurance companies, but more about changing their roles to be more efficient and transparent.
Right, so it's about empowering both sides, the insurers, A&D, the people they insure, with this new tech. And it's not just about payouts either. That same article mentioned blockchain for automating reinsurance. That's insurance for insurance companies, right?
You got it. And reinsurance involves these massive, complicated settlements between companies. Blockchain can streamline that whole process, potentially saving millions in admin costs.
Millions.
Seriously. Picture a system where transactions are recorded and settled instantly on this secure ledger. That's the power of blockchain.
I'm trying to picture it, but it still seems kind of magical to me. How does it actually work?
Okay, think of it like a shared Google Doc, one that everyone has access to.
Gotcha.
Every transaction, every little bit of data is recorded on this document. Everyone can see it, but no one can change past entries, and new entries need to be verified by a bunch of different people. Super secure, super transparent.
So it's not about getting rid of trust altogether, but more about distributing it, making it way harder for someone to mess with the system.
Exactly.
That's pretty revolutionary. And speaking of revolutionary, let's talk London Insurance Week 2025. One article mentions these really cool spotlight sessions like bridging legacy in the future and tokenizing risk beyond traditional insurance. Those titles alone, I'm hooked.
Those sessions are tackling the big questions facing the industry. For example, bridging legacy and the future. That's all about how to make blockchain work with the old IT systems that a lot of insurance companies still use.
I can see how that would be a challenge. A lot of companies are probably stuck with outdated systems.
It's a huge hurdle, but that's what they're trying to figure out. Now, tokenizing risk. That's where things get really wild. It's about taking the things we insure, the risks, and breaking them down into these digital tokens that can be bought and sold.
Wait, so instead of buying a traditional insurance policy, you could buy and sell risk tokens on a blockchain marketplace.
Exactly. And this could open up insurance to totally new investors and create entirely new markets. It's a whole different way of thinking about risk and insurance.
That's mind-blowing. Can you break it down a bit more? What would that look like in the real world?
Okay, let's say there's a hurricane risk. Usually, insurance companies would assess that risk for a certain area and then sell policies to homeowners there. But with tokenized risk, they could break down that overall hurricane risk into these smaller units, represented by tokens.
So then investors could buy and sell these tokens based on how risky they think a hurricane is.
Yep. Someone who thinks a hurricane is likely could buy more tokens, and someone who doesn't think it's a big risk could sell theirs. And because it's all on the blockchain, those transactions are super transparent and efficient.
This feels bigger than just a conference. It's like a global movement. Even if we're not in London, it feels like this event will impact all of us.
100%. The reach of this event is massive. They're partnering with media, NGOs, academics, everyone to share what they learn with the whole world.
So they're making this a global conversation.
Yeah, and that makes sense, right? Policymakers will get insights to shape regulations. Consumers will finally see how blockchain can make insurance better.
It's like a ripple effect, starting in London and then spreading out everywhere.
And the key to all of this is, you guessed it, collaboration. This is too big for any one company or organization to do alone. They all need to work together, share that blockchain ledger, and make this vision happen.
Collaboration seems to be the key takeaway here. It's not just about the tech itself, but how we use it to build a better future. We've covered a lot, but there's so much more to talk about.
We were talking about collaboration right before the break.
Right, how everyone needs to work together to make this blockchain insurance thing really work.
Yeah, and it makes me think of something I read in one of these articles.
Oh, which one?
It's the one called Pasted Text.
Okay.
And they were saying that, this is a now or never moment for the insurance industry.
Now or never.
Do you think that's a little over the top, or is there something to that?
That's a good question. It does sound kind of dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I can see where they're coming from. Whenever there's a big change with technology, the companies that jump in and figure it out,
They do well.
they do well. Exactly. And the ones that hang on to the old ways,
They get left behind.
they totally get left behind. So is the insurance industry at a crossroads right now, do you think?
I think so. It's not just about ignoring blockchain. It's about really understanding how much it could change things and being willing to go with that change. Think about what we've talked about. Faster claims.
Lower costs.
And transparency.
Yeah, this isn't just a little tweak here and there.
No, it's not. It could completely reshape how insurance works.
You're right. These are big changes that could be good for everyone, the companies and the people they insure. And don't forget all the new stuff that could happen.
Like tokenized risk.
Yeah.
It's like blockchain is opening up possibilities that we couldn't even imagine before.
So what about London Insurance Week 2025? What will people actually see there? I read about a blockchain innovation pavilion.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on there?
Just picture it. This pavilion, totally buzzing with energy.
Yeah.
Startups showing off their blockchain platforms, big insurance companies making deals, investors looking for the next big thing.
That sounds awesome.
It's like a melting pot of innovation.
And it's not just all in one place, right?
No.
The article mentioned other events happening all over London.
Exactly. London Insurance Week will be everywhere. Roundtable discussions, hackathons, live demos. It's going to be nonstop.
So much going on. Sounds like a great way to connect with people from all over the industry.
Absolutely.
And that's important, right? Even with all this talk about technology and disruption.
Insurance is still about relationships and trust.
That's so true.
London Insurance Week is about bringing people together.
To build the future of insurance.
Exactly.
It's that community and collaboration we keep talking about. It's not just tech changing, it's people too.
It is. It's about using technology to make those connections stronger.
Okay, so let's think about our listeners for a second. Let's say you're listening to this. Maybe you work in insurance, maybe you don't. Why should you care about this whole blockchain revolution?
That's the key question. Here's the thing. Insurance is everywhere, right?
It is.
It affects our homes, our cars, our health, our businesses. It's the safety net that lets us take risks.
So if blockchain makes insurance better,
more efficient,
more transparent,
more accessible,
then that's good for everyone.
It is. Think about it. Faster claims. You get help when you need it.
Lower costs means you can afford the coverage you need.
And if it's more transparent, you understand your policies better, you trust the system more.
It sounds like blockchain could give insurance a makeover.
Yeah.
A good one. Make it work better for everyone.
That's a good way to put it. And London Insurance Week could be the start of that.
Okay, but that article we mentioned, Pasted Text, they said that the what of insurance is changing too.
Oh, yeah.
What do they mean by that?
That's where things get really interesting. And it goes back to that tokenizing risk thing. We usually think of insurance as policies for stuff you own or things that might happen. You insure your house, your car, your health.
Right.
But with blockchain, they're saying we could insure totally new things that were too hard to insure before.
Do you have an example?
Sure. Think about climate change. It's this huge problem. Hard to predict, hard to measure.
So traditional insurance hasn't really been able to deal with it.
Right, because it's hard to figure out the risk.
Yeah, and if you can't measure the risk,
Yeah.
you can't make an insurance product that's fair and affordable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with blockchain, we can create these policies that pay out based on very specific climate events, like extreme weather or rising sea levels.
So instead of insuring against something general like climate change, you could insure against a very specific thing, like a flood reaching a certain level in your neighborhood.
Exactly. And the blockchain keeps track of everything, so it's all transparent and reliable.
So it's not just changing how insurance works. We're talking about changing what we can insure.
That's why London Insurance Week is so important. It's not just about showing what we can do now. It's about thinking about the future.
The future of insurance in a world with blockchain. It feels like everything is about to change. How we think about risk, protection, financial security. This goes way beyond just the insurance industry.
Absolutely. And it's happening right now. It's an exciting time.
Okay, well, we've covered a lot in this deep dive. The why, the how, the who, even the whats of this blockchain insurance revolution. But there's one more thing we need to talk about. The where.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't just mean a physical place. I mean the global impact of all this.
Right. It's better than just London.
So even if you can't go to London Insurance Week, you're still part of this.
Absolutely. What happens in London will affect the whole industry, from small startups to big companies all over the world. This is a global conversation.
It feels like we're moving towards a better future for insurance. More connected, more transparent. A future where technology empowers everyone. We'll be right back to wrap up our deep dive into the blockchain insurance revolution. Welcome back, everyone. We're in the home stretch now.
Almost there.
Our deep dive into this whole blockchain insurance thing, and wow, it's been a wild ride.
It has been pretty amazing. We started by asking, what even is blockchain? And now we're talking about how it could change everything in insurance.
And this isn't just some far-off future stuff. This is happening globally right now.
It really is. London Insurance Week might be kicking things off, but the effects are going to be felt all over the world.
Like a chain reaction, starting in London and then boom.
Exactly. So let's bring it all back down to earth for a second. We talked about faster claims, lower costs, more transparency, even insuring new kinds of things. But what does it all actually mean for the average person? Someone just trying to figure out their insurance.
Yeah, what's the takeaway for the everyday consumer?
Well, I think it means you'll have more control over your insurance.
Okay, more control in what way?
More choices, and ultimately, more peace of mind.
I like the sound of that. More peace of mind when it comes to insurance. That's a big deal.
Imagine being able to actually understand your policy, And then if you need to, you can file a claim right from your phone and get your payout fast and fair without all the headaches.
No more mountains of paperwork or calling back and forth for weeks.
That's the idea. Blockchain insurance could really change how people feel about insurance altogether.
Because right now, let's be honest, most people see insurance as kind of a necessary evil.
Right. You have to have it, but you hope you never actually need to use it.
But with blockchain, maybe people will actually start to see it as something good, something valuable.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. To have an insurance system that everyone feels good about, that's fair, transparent, and really works for people and businesses.
A system that really protects people.
So back to that pasted text article for a sec. They were pretty serious about this being a now or never moment for the industry. Do you really think companies that don't get on board with blockchain will be left behind?
Look, things are changing so fast. Tech-wise, the insurance industry can't afford to just sit back and wait. The companies that are open to new ideas, that are willing to work together and experiment with blockchain...
They're the ones who are going to win.
I think so.
So it's not just about the companies either, right? It's about anyone who cares about the future of insurance.
Absolutely. Stay curious, stay informed, stay engaged. You might just be part of this whole revolution.
The future is being written right now, and it's up to all of us to help shape it.
That's a great way to put it.
Well, I think we've done it. We went deep, explored all the twists and turns, and hopefully gave everyone a glimpse into what's coming next. Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive, and until next time, keep exploring the future.